afternoon, Governor. My name is Elaine Canuck. I live on Weber Avenue in Sayreville. I had met you. You gave me a hug, and you said you're going to help us. We lost our homes and our belongings, and we're begging for a buyout.
Yep.
I know it takes time, but we need some information. We need something quick because it's hard for us.
I know it is.
Also, for the unmet needs charities, I go, and they say they can't help me because we're waiting for a buyout. By the time the state decides if we get a buyout, the money will be gone and we won't be able to rebuild.
No, that's not.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
But
I understand your fear.
I beg for a buyout. It's hard for everyone on our street. We lost our whole street.
Yep. I remember walking down the street, and I remember you.
I remember. You gave us a hug, and you gave us such hope. But it's 148 days. I know it takes time, but you have to put it in high gear.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Here's the thing. Part of what I was talking about at the top, right? That the reason I was so angry about the delay with Congress getting us the aid that we needed up top over nearly 100 days before the storm was over, before they voted on it, right? Is for the very reason you're talking about. Because now the money is coming and we are going to be in Sayreville with a buyout. I can guarantee you that. It's one of the places that we're targeting because of the destruction that I saw firsthand, and because I really felt from walking the neighborhood that day and in contact our administration has had with the neighbors on your street and in your neighborhood since then, that there is a real appetite for buyouts there. Where, for instance, like I've gone to Union Beach, where there was destruction that was the equivalent of what happened in Sayreville, and people in Union Beach don't want to buy out. They want to rebuild. So my point is I want to go to the places where people want out and use the money there rather than go to places and force people out. So we've asked the government to apportion $250 million for buyouts. That's part of our disaster plan that we've put forward to the federal government. We're waiting back for approval from the federal government. I am hoping that we're going to get approval by the end of the first week of April. If we do, then we're going to start the application process. And what will happen is we will send folks from the governor's office to Sayreville, to these neighborhoods, and have a mobile governor's office there for you guys just to come in. You want to sell, fill out your application, and then we'll start to process it. So Sayreville, South River, places like that are going to be at the top of the list because the flooding has been just an epidemic there. And the destruction that was done, I remember your neighborhood clearly. And we need to get those houses out of that neighborhood and just turn it into passive recreation land. So that when it floods again, that all that's flooded is a soccer field maybe or a baseball field and not somebody's home and have all their belongings destroyed. So we're absolutely committed to that. We've asked for $250 million of the federal money to be allocated towards what's called the Blue Acres program, which is the state buyout program. So I understand your frustration that it's 143, right? 148. I miscounted. But right, 148 days, right? And I understand your frustration and I feel it. But remember this, it was nearly 100 days before they even voted to give us help. So, we're 50 days or so past when they voted to give us help. We're working really hard to get it done. I don't want you to lose hope. We are going to be there, and we are going to be able to help the people in Sayreville who want to sell, to be able to sell, and to take that money and move on, to get themselves a place to live where they're not going to worry about being flooded all the time. So we're going to be there, and we're going to be able to help, and we're moving as fast as we can. I'll try to kick it into higher gear quickly, but it's dealing with the federal government's a little bit cumbersome at times. But I understand that. It's okay.
In our predicaments, no one tells us anything. No one even tries to help us. When we go to places, they don't know what to say because of the buyout.
Yeah.
And then if we elevate our homes, when we're older already, we'll never make it up to the top with the groceries.
Right.
I mean,
right.
That's
right. Listen, you're absolutely right about that. For some of these homes, the idea of elevation is impractical either because of the ability to access the home or because with the setbacks and the size of the lots, your stairs will wind up in the street, right? So I understand the impracticality, which in places like Sayreville is why it makes sense and why I'm moving towards going to buyouts in those neighborhoods, because there isn't, it seems to me, another practical solution to the problems that you all are facing. And I'm disturbed to hear that you feel like people haven't reached out, because I know I've sent the governor's office there to Sayreville a few times. But what I want you to do is, if you want, what we'll do is set up a meeting with all the people in your neighborhood for us to go through all of this stuff in detail with them. So if you're going to give it a card, you're going to call him and give him your phone number or an email address or whatever you feel comfortable giving. We'll reach back out to you and we'll schedule a time to get the folks who are the experts in the governor's office to come out to your neighborhood and have a meeting right where you are, so that you gather as many of your neighbors together as you can, and we'll have that conversation, right all together, so everybody can ask their questions. We'll give you the best answers we've got, so that people feel like they're not being ignored or forgotten, because you are not being ignored or forgotten. I can guarantee you that. But if you feel that way, I got to address the way you and some of your neighbors are feeling. So let's send some of the folks from the governor's office who know about this out there. Let's have a meeting, go through it, and we'll try to give you realistic timelines of what the expectation will be based on what we're hearing from the federal government. So if you participate with me, I'll set up a meeting for us out there.
Thank you.